This building here was built in 1907 by my great-great-grandfather. And today we are removing it. These guys showed up with bobcats, had a mini skidster, and also excavator. And what they're doing is starting on the far end here. And the biggest thing is not to have it collapse into the grain bin that you see there. So they start removing that end wall to kind of see how it's going to lean and fall. And so it doesn't go to that left side. So they start removing the majority of that end wall. That old building had some tie rods on the bottom to help the bottom not sway left to right. So that was one of the key features that held it up so long. Here's another view of it coming down. They're starting to take some of the tin off. And my mom wrote a little sign, goodbye, since this was built in 1907. It's been on the property for a very, very long time. There is a piece of concrete in there too that has 1907 engraved on it, so we'll save that for later. We pulled out all the stuff that was in the building and put it on the concrete out front. So as they continue, this had old shingles underneath of it, and they started removing that. You can see it's not framed very well. 24 inches on center, maybe some 36 on center. And here it is. They got the roof to finally collapse, and they're holding it there so it doesn't go to the left into the grain bin. There's an AC unit over there, a heat pump. So they definitely do not want that to go into that side. So you can see the mini excavator is on that side holding it up. And at this point, they decided that they're going to switch locations. So the mini X is going to go to the other side, to the back, because it has a farther reach. And then the skid loader is going to come on this side and help push. So, and as you can tell, the roof has collapsed in on itself. After pushing out those end walls, it just folded in half. And that's what happens with a lot of old roofs when they're not framed properly. There's no cross framing or gussets to hold up the peak. The roof will just collapse once those end walls come down. So just take some time here to get the location figured out. He starts opening up the end wall on the other side, on the back, and try to get that peak to collapse and go toward the back. So it's important here that they have equal pressure on that building so it doesn't go into the grain bin and the heat pump. So this is where it takes some time to get it figured out on what position is going to work the best and making sure it doesn't collapse improperly. So with the right equipment, they definitely can get this figured out. So in the back there, you can see the bucket moving. He's starting to open up that back wall on the back side. So then it can all be pushed by the skid loader to that back area where there's nothing behind the building. He continues to demo out the tin and get that opened up. So in total time, I think it took about, for the whole building to collapse, maybe an hour and a half at the most, 75 minutes. It probably took for them to get the building down. And this was the most crucial part, so they're taking their time. So it all collapses the correct way. And it's very dusty. This building is super old, like I mentioned, 119 years old. So all the dust coming out of this building when they collapse it and doing the cleanup, there's just dust filling the air, just fine particle dust over the years that's been caked on to the roof. The shingles were old, I'm not for sure if they had asbestos or not, but they definitely could have, being built that long time ago. And they just covered up with tin, obviously, just an easier process than removing asbestos shingles. We never did get it tested to see if it did, but I assume it probably had something, and also lead it probably had in as well. So here they go, starting to push some more from the side. They switch positions. The skid loader switched a little bit better, a different position. So he's pushing towards the back now and trying to lift that up. You can see there's one wall just right of the Bobcat that is kind of holding everything else up. So once that is kind of gone, he's pushing in the back there, you can see. And once he gets that wall opened up to that middle part, just a smidgen from the back, it's all going to collapse down. So you can see his bucket reaching out, trying to get underneath that roof and making sure that it doesn't go towards the grain bin there. And both tractors are continuing to push, so it's still, it's not the biggest equipment. Somebody could come in here with a big Bobcat and excavator and do everything, but they did not. So this is the building down. They got everything down, and I missed the part where that final part collapsed, but this is a good portion of it. This is the remains collapsed, and then here it's the concrete. As you saw earlier, it is gone. It was leaning, a little bit this way since it was built in 1907. Leaning this way, and I didn't want it to go into the grain bin or crash in the grain bin and hit the AC unit and hit this whole side. So they did a great job today of getting it calculated and pushing it out of that way so it all fell away. And then this is the old foundation, how thick this is. So they did block for their footer. So they did that. And they just set that right on the dirt. So they used to just get this kind of level, set that. And then they took old brick and filled, just like a little filler, poured concrete. And then I think over the years, they must have poured another layer of concrete over it. So with this and with these, this is 8-inch block. This is another 6 and another 4. So this is at least 10 to 12 inches thick. So, and they just added that filler in, and it kind of just ties in, like when they had random bricks up there, it kind of bonds this layer of concrete to the soil. So it kind of acts, I don't know, kind of maybe rebar back then type of thing. Like it kind of acts as rebar. But you can tell it's got 2 layers on it. So they had the first layer, and then they must have poured over the top eventually, maybe years later, if that started crumbling. But so extra thick, as you can see, super thick. Big old chunks that they're gonna haul away and go to the concrete plant where they'll chip them up. There's no rebar in it, so nice clean concrete, that's what they want. But you can see all the old brick, and we used to have an old hog shed as well. So all that brick, they must have had all the brick before. So that's what that looks like. This area is a little bit thinner. So I think in that area, maybe they had more hogs in that area, but this is a thinner area. They still got this block here that needs to come up. So that is that. So as you can tell here, this area where they had the big pad, I don't think they ever had a building here ever, but this is at least, that's a good foot thick. So they definitely poured it super thick. No rebar or anything back then. This one's a little bit thinner. So we're just gonna tear up to here, call it good, because we have all this other stuff sitting on it. And they had a tire buried underneath there as well, but this is kind of what it looks like now. No building there, and clean work site. and everything else, but they'll get that cleaned up and hauled away, hauled all the tin away to the recycle center. They did it with a little Mini X and this other Bobcat, so definitely looks different. You can see not blocked by the view anymore from seeing the green bin, and it's looking really good. But that's kind of how that old building was built back then. And we did save the piece of concrete over here. So that's who built it, Zeiss, which is my mom's maiden name, 1907. And we cut it, saw cut it and everything, and it just, when we lifted it up, the corners broke. So I'll clean that up a little bit better. But there's that. J is right there, so Zeiss, and then J, I believe. And that's the year 1907. So pretty cool feature to see. This one goes here to complete that. So if I can maybe glue that, this piece, no idea, missing in action, can't find it anywhere. So, but got the majority of it, which is good. Yeah, looking good. So this is the site after they did all the cleanup and everything. So that's definitely nice, virgin soil. Nobody's touched this soil since 1907. Since that building was built, has never been disturbed. So pretty unique little feature about having land and owning land, that if an old building is on it, nobody's ever touched that dirt before that time. So this is what it looks like. Moved everything that was in that building out to here. We'll have room in another building to put most of this away. But as you can tell, that's the green bin house that I'm in. And then the old barn is totally gone, and concrete's gone, and just kept this part. Didn't want to remove all that. Want to have something solid to set stuff on and kind of go from there. All the milling logs are here that we're going to get rid of, that are, most of them are sold already to one person, so that will be good to get that out of the way. And then the sawmill over there, so might be giving that up after I get former logs cut. Might be putting that up for sale too. So, but it's looking good.